There it is.
We're back with the cat. Except for Bear's not here. But now Coach Crendor.
It sounded like you said we're back with a cat. And I was like,
I thought you
cool
said that
cats.
too. Which is funny because I just found this GIF that I will be linking in private text for you. Not GIF.
Oh boy, a cat GIF. I bet no one's ever sent those on the internet, Rob.
Oh, it's a quality one. You'll enjoy it.
Hooray, I'll be sure to look at it.
Here we go, cat gif.
To illustrate it for the people at home, cat is in small box and finds even smaller box, decides to be in that box.
It is very accurate.
Yeah.
That is a very accurate thing.
That's great.
The cat can in no way fit into either box.
I love how we haven't had a podcast for like 2 months, and the first thing that we're on about is a cat GIF. Thank you.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm here for.
Well, we hold on, let me go to the old Three Guys page. When was it? It was it's like a month and a half ago.
Wait,
right?
when
Almost
was it?
2 months.
What is that URL? I don't
When
remember.
was I?
What year is it?
You can tell by the energy in Rob's voice that he's a new man after this off season already.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Ridiculous moves made by the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
So let's first off, I know we still have a lot of people that are just like, football. I listen to this to fall asleep for like no reason. So
Idiots.
the off season is when a whole bunch of shit goes down to help shape the teams for the next season. So first thing that happens, Patriots win the Super Bowl again. Everyone's like, ooh, then they go home. Then everyone starts getting these reports like, is this guy going to get signed? Is this guy going to get released? And they start like cutting players if they're going to get salary bonuses on certain days so they can save money. And all these contracts get like looked over. And then the big free agency hits, and a lot of contracted players that have been with their team for like 3-4 years, their contract runs out, and now they can sign with another team, and they either try to get a payday or they try to go to a team that isn't bad, depending on what they want. Or they might go to like, Miami if they want to party and don't give a shit about winning.
Or sometimes they get both. That does happen. You get a big payday on a winning team too.
Yeah. So that's where we're at right now. There's also been the combine. That's another thing I guess we can talk about a little bit. But
yeah,
big thing is our teams have signed some quality free agents, except for the Buccaneers. And
make big plays as always, Coach.
Yep, some quality things from the Buccaneers. They did trade Desean Jackson away, so that's
They did. And that was only because he hasn't wanted to play for Tampa for the last 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that like the whole time he's been there?
Yeah.
Why, yes, it has been, Rob. Thank you for pointing that out.
I can't blame him.
Buccaneers' most notable signing, if you can hold on your hats, hold on your butts, hold on to any other extremity that you might have. But the Buccaneers making the big time plays, Coach. They signed, wait for it, a new punter.
Yes, they're gonna need it because they'll be punting a lot.
You love your special teams in Tampa Bay,
dude. Yeah. Bruce Arians might be drawing up something. He might be like trying to do some crazy punter passes.
Good old Buckin' Bruce. We got rid of Brian Anger and signed Bradley Pinion.
Never heard of him.
It's like lateral move, kind of.
It's a punter, Rob. I don't think anyone cares about which way
like
moving.
An illegal forward lateral.
But I mean, actually, the punting game. I mean, I won't go too far into this because it is punting, and who gives a shit. But punting has evolved in the past, like a very short period of time, actually. Because like for almost all of football history, a punt was done one way. You kick it one specific way, and it just goes in a straight line.
Yeah.
In the last like 5-10 years, they've actually changed the punting game, where these punters now can kick like 5 or 6 different kinds of balls that do different things based on like field position or where they're hitting or whatever. That's why you see those little sometimes the punts where they'll hit the ground and then they'll go back upfield. That's a specific type of punt. So
it's got like some backspin on it.
Mm-hmm.
Or they got like the coffin kicks. They like get it out in like the inside the 10, and they got the where it dies right when it hits the ground. They do have a lot.
It's a punter.
I know, no one cares, but still, it's pretty.
You don't care until your punter kicks like a 10-yard punt and whiffs it, and then they get the ball at the 50, and you're like, why did you sign this punter?
Exactly.
It's kind of like the offensive lineman in a way, except, offensive line's a little more important. But it's one of those things where maybe in the first round your team drafts an offensive lineman, and you're like, oh my God, that's so boring. But then when your quarterback's able to throw the ball and you're able to run the ball and get holes, you're like, this is great. I love offensive linemen.
Wow, look how much better our quarterback is now.
Yeah. Offensive line is the most unsexy position, but pound for pound is probably like the most important.
It's the most thankless position for sure.
It really is. It's because honestly, the main reason is, and this is something that we can get out to the universe here, because jocks and nerds should come together, because sports is really fucking nerdy. And you know why O-line is so unsexy? It doesn't have a lot of stats. You can't really track it. It's like there's nothing to nerd out about with O-line play unless like you're really looking at it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we kept track of pancakes and in football. That was the extent of our stat.
Would you like to explain what a pancake is, Invicta?
Well, Coach, a pancake is basically whenever an offensive lineman takes a defensive lineman or any other player that they have blocked and then slams them on the ground and lays on him, Coach. That is called a total block, or known as a pancake.
Yeah, it's literally when you just shit on the other guy and you're like, roasted, dude. Got destroyed.
And luckily, funnily enough, that Rob brings it up, because Rob is also the person who linked it. He has a very awesome link that Coach Krendor probably will forget to link in the information box, but it shows all of the cap space used by position for the 2019 offseason, and it is quite the doozy. It was made by someone who has way more time than I ever would spend on doing this, but thank you to that person.
Troublesome Kangaroo
Troublesome
on Reddit.
Kangaroo, yeah. Shout out to you. I'm sure that you listen to this podcast all the time, and we're waiting for this episode to come out.
Of course, yeah.
Everybody on that subreddit watches. How many people are on that subreddit? 1.2 million? Yeah, that's about the views for our videos, right?
Imagine if we got one penny for every one of those people.
Imagine if we could just make money instead of spending money on this podcast. Because right now that's where we're at. We're in the dead cap. We're over the cap. I'm paying SoundCloud like money to keep our shit up there, and we don't have YouTube ads yet. So
classic, yeah.
Technically, every time that we make an episode, it does cost us all money, considering that we're all like partnered streamers and we could be working, but we do this for everyone out there, Coach.
We're not looking for hands.
We do it for the fans,
for the fans,
the game,
for the brand,
in hopes of sponsorships and other things at some point.
It will happen one day, Coach. I believe
it'll happen. Hopefully,
tell your friends,
please tell them.
Tell local businessmen and local businesswomen.
There you go. Yeah.
One thing I noticed from this is that Baltimore spends a lot on special teams.
Yeah.
As does Pittsburgh and San Francisco, Tennessee.
So the thing about this that is weird, right? So about that the diagram is the data. I believe the author says it was scraped. Yeah, scraped this morning. So this is currently, right? So this is right now, the 19th of March. So special teams is going to be a little weird because teams are firing and hiring punters right now. So it's going to be a little inconsistent with like what it's going to look like by this time the season starts. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, for the most part, it's a pretty cool visualization.
I think my favorite is Miami's quarterback cap. Very interesting.
They just signed Fitzpatrick, so I mean,
they did. Yeah. I was gonna say the Buccaneers. Here's the Buccaneers' moves of the offseason so far. They cut Vinny Curry.
Yep. See you later, Curry.
They signed Shaq Barrett.
Yep.
They cut Mitch Urine, as you said.
Yep. See you later, Uriel.
They cut Brian Anger.
Yep.
They signed the Bradley Pinion, the punter, and they signed Desean Buchanan.
Yeah.
And
they
then
re-signed Donovan Smith as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Donovan
That's
Smith.
what I was gonna say.
And Kentrell Bryce. That's the other one. Ex-Packer, who I know a lot about. He's not that bad. He's just kind of okay.
Depth player.
Was he cut or was he just released? Well, I guess it's the same thing. Was he traded from.
He was released. He like started some games for us last year. He was like promising the year before that. He's kind of young, but like he is kind of just he got injured at one point. Like he's good. He's not bad, but he's not he's not top. He's like a 25th, 23rd ranked safety. If you had to rank him around there.
That's making me feel real good about Bruce Arians and his decisions.
To be honest, that's pretty high rating for a safety.
Well, the Buccaneers need defense. I miss the good old days of running the table on defense. The Buccaneers have some of the fiercest defensive linemen in the world out there. I mean, I hate Warren Sapp with a passion. I think even when we were winning a Super Bowl with him, I hated him, but he was still a pretty good player. And then Simeon Rice, of course, running on that left end that he did was he was incredible to watch. And then seeing them be like, we got to go for a backup defensive back now so we could actually get some sort of defense. Like they could not stop any single pass last year. I wish I could see the numbers here, and I'll wait on statistician Rob to find it. But the average points scored against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense for this past season, has got to be one of the highest that they've had in a while, I think. Even though we somehow had the number 1 ranked rushing defense or whatever. What was that stat that the Buccaneers had? Now I'm actually curious on that. I'll get back to you on this one, Coach.
All right, yeah, you look into that. Because I know whenever we'd look, the Buccaneers were like a top 3 offense or something. We're like, wow, that's crazy. And it's like, how are they losing every game? Well,
yeah.
Oh
yeah. No, that's no joke. So that's 29 points per game.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
That's real bad. That's second worst.
Yeah.
That means to win a game, you have to score at least 30 points.
Yeah. And they actually managed to do it because their offense was good last year.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's talk about the Jets. Because I know,
let's do it.
I know you're very excited. First up, let's start out with Anthony Barr.
He can suck on my balls. He could just settle right on.
Anthony Barr is a good linebacker that decided to go from Minnesota to the Jets until he was like, you know what? I don't want to do that after agreeing to a deal. And then he went back to Minnesota.
Yeah.
I don't like Anthony Barr because he's the one who injured Aaron Rodgers. And people are like, he fell on his shoulder. He just shoved it. It's like, nah, dude. All right, I don't like Anthony Barr.
It was Rodgers' fault for falling in the first place.
Yeah, it's the Aaron Rodgers hater. It's the people who say that about like Tom Brady too, like he's down there. But yeah, it's that type of guy. But still, that's kind of a dude. This is like the Josh McDaniels of players right now.
It's a very dick move, to be honest with you. Although, okay, so to be clear, again, for the non-football fans to enlighten them about the offseason a little bit. So free agency period actually has a set start date, but a week, I think it's a week. A week before that is called the legal tampering period. So what that means is at that point, teams are now allowed to talk to, guys that are part of other
free agents,
right? Yeah, like guys that are technically part of other organizations. And in that legal tampering period is when a lot of these deals kind of get finalized behind the scenes. They don't get signed though. In that tampering period, that only happens after free agency kicks off. Now, what Anthony Barr did is he agreed to a deal. I think we even had the terms actually of the deal, and then free agency started, and he was like, nah, actually, fuck y'all. I'm gonna be on the Vikings still. It's just a massive dick move, you know, because he thought he was coming here. And I bet he ain't gonna be too happy after he saw the rest of our free agent site.
Yeah, which you did a lot of signings. So here are the signings: Josh Bellamy, wide receiver; Jamison Crowder, wide receiver; Tom Compton, it's a guard, offensive tackle; Chandler Catanzaro, the kicker.
Yeah, actually, and briefly, can we talk about that? Because Chandler Catanzaro was on our team 2 years ago. And we cut Jason Myers, the kicker, who went to the Pro Bowl. I was pretty sad about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, like, it looks pretty clear that year was an anomalous year for him.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, like, the guy just fucking kicked his leg off. Like, get this man back on the team, dude. I don't know, personally. But
they cut Isaiah. They cut Isaiah Crowell.
Yeah.
They signed Brian Poole, corner. They signed C.J. Moseley. That's a big signing.
Yeah, baby.
Linebacker. He used to be on the Ravens. He was a first-round draft pick a few years back, if I remember.
Yeah, he's quite good.
Yeah,
and he's been making moves.
He's 26 too, so he's like crazy young. So like he's just gonna be with us now.
From what I saw, he's one of the top like in the box linebackers, but he's not very good at covering guys when he has to drop back in coverage. So it's where the safety, kind of like your safety valve, has to come in and make up for it. But you got a good safety, so I mean, you don't have to worry too much, I don't think.
Honestly, we might have the best safety tandem in football right now. To be honest,
I think you're right.
Yeah. The other thing too is that last year we dropped what's his face, Demario Davis, who was our like tackle leader actually the year prior to that, and everybody was a little sad because he was on the team like previously. He came back to us, became our tackle leader. We were like, oh, dope, great. I'm glad he had a great year. And then we cut him. And then we picked up Avery Williamson last season, who was basically the opposite of C.J. Moseley, like great in pass coverage, not so great in the box. So now those two are probably going to work off of each other pretty well, I would imagine.
On paper, it looks great.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like, will it work out? We'll find out.
The whole scheme of free agency, right? Like, in general.
Then you play Tom Brady. He's just like, oh, let's pick you apart. And you're like,
remember all those moves you guys made in the offseason? Yeah, they didn't matter. Yeah, the Patriots will still win.
As a great man once said, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. So,
that is very true.
I mean, the whole offseason really is just one big crapshoot at the end of the day, because you never know. I mean, people get injured, so it's just,
they're always off-season winners, and they, it doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna do anything in the season.
Yeah. I think what it does is it gives hope. You're like, hey, this could be different.
That's what it's about. It gives me some hope.
Then they cash in on that hope by charging you money for those tickets, Rob.
And a $10 hot dog.
Yeah, $10 hot dog.
But the biggest signing, the one that everybody talks about, Le'Veon Bell.
Can't believe it.
He held out an entire year to go to the New York Jets.
The freaking Jets, Rob. How? What kind of voodoo, crazy magic are you running over there?
You know what?
To win the Bell sweepstakes.
I tell you what, I said it at the beginning of our podcast actually this year that like it makes sense for him to go to come here to New York, like for a lot of reasons. I mean, he grew up loving Curtis Martin on the Jets, and was as an aside, is a Jets fan in that respect, right? Because his favorite running back is Curtis Martin.
Yeah.
And also, like, we just had the best setup for him, like the best needs and groupings for him. But the curveball in this offseason was the Colts, because the Colts are a way more perfect fit for Le'Veon Bell. And like, they've got a great O-line. They've got a cemented QB, like a huge amount of cap space, and they're on the up. But for some reason Chris Ballard doesn't like spending any of the money that they have. So, that I'll take it, man. I'll take Le'Veon Bell. And he's not even that expensive, to be honest with you. We gave him the same deal that the Steelers were offering him, pretty much. Actually, I think $1 million less.
Looking at the Colts cap space, it looks like they don't have a lot.
They've got actually a shit ton, but if you're you
never mind, I see it. Yeah, I was looking at it wrong.
They came into this offseason with I think like the third or fourth highest cap room in the league. Yeah. But I don't know, they haven't really made any moves.
Yeah,
so
that's interesting. Maybe they want to re-sign people in a year or two. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but
you would think they'd want to win now, being a playoff team on the rise.
Exactly, right? Like, or you could even pick up pieces on short-term contracts that you can, then flip for picks, eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's another thing we could talk about. So a big thing with contracts is sometimes people will sign like 1 year kind of prove it deals.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's like a veteran guy who's trying to revitalize his career, maybe he's on the downfall, or like maybe there's a guy that's had some drug issues or something, they'll be like, hey, here's a 1 year deal for like a few million, show everybody what you got. And then they like play their heart out, and then they try to get a better deal the next year.
Yep.
So that's a lot of those actually work out really well for teams trying to compete, because you get the guy playing at his best for that year, and that's all you need.
And honestly, it works usually out pretty well for the players too. Like Demario Davis was one of those guys. Like he ended up on the Saints last year, and they made a deep run in the playoffs, and he also got like a huge payday from them after playing a year with us. So I'm just happy for Demario Davis in general, but
sometimes like signing the big deals actually proves to be detrimental, because you give this guy all this money and you're like, all right, you're gonna do that for us, you're gonna play at the top of your game for us, and then you get, God, was it Albert Hainsworth? Yeah, is a good example.
Hainsworth.
He got paid. He got a big contract, and he gave no shits. He like went out there and he's like, I'm trying to make a tackle, and it was like the biggest waste of money.
Yeah, and this isn't like a Skip Bayless thing. Like Hainsworth specifically, like you can watch videos of Albert Hainsworth just like sitting down on a play and then just not getting up.
I know he was with the Bucks for less than a season.
Yeah. So you got to make sure you're getting a good character guy that's going to actually play for you when you do those types of things.
But honestly, what's fun about the offseason though is that it gives you something to A, look forward to next season, and B, it fills the gap for statistician nerds and theorizing nerds like us to start thinking about football 6 months before the season starts. We got less than 6 months, Coach. We're already on the bubble.
In fact, we're only about a month away from the NFL draft.
Let's go. Right, Coach Grandor. We're going to be doing a live stream of the NFL draft just like we did last year, and I'm sure that we will have a lot more people tuned in because of the podcast, Coach.
I definitely think so. It's actually a really highly viewed stream. Like I had like 1,000 people watching, I think, when I was doing it, and it was literally just us watching like the ESPN ticker.
Right.
Talking. It's like, all right, what's it gonna be?
I'm pretty sure Rob and I didn't stream during that, but
no, I didn't.
Yeah, I just showed up.
We just hosted Coach, and just literally we're just watching.
Man.
We're just reading.
Imagine
That's all
if the Bucks would have taken the player you wanted. Wouldn't that have been pretty great for you?
It sure would have been nice. Derwin James. I could have had my own Darnold and Derwin. And, no,
your own Jamal
Buccaneers.
Adams.
Yeah.
Did he get Defensive Rookie of the Year? He almost did.
I think
right?
He either got first or second in it.
Yeah,
he was very good.
It's great there, Rob. Derwin James. Hey, the Buccaneers re-signed. They signed a new punter, Coach. Yay.
So, to the Packers, because I get the Packers stuff. So the Packers cut Nick Perry, thank God. He was kind of promising, and then he was always injured. In fact, the best he played was when he had the club on his hand. I think it just helped him like whap people or some shit. But oh my God, the Packers normally don't make free agency moves, but we got new GM. Well, our second year GM. We got a new head coach. Aaron Rodgers is mad. Packer fans are mad. We missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. This is uncalled for. 2 years of missing the playoffs in a row. I think if there's 3, we'd burn everything down. I think if we miss 3 years in a row, Aaron Rodgers will be traded. So
He retires.
The Packers' biggest signing, Zadarius Smith from the Ravens. Very happy about that. He's a guy where he was a backup on the Ravens, but he had 8 sacks and like 60 quarterback pressures, like an insane amount. Like even if he didn't get a sack, he was getting to the quarterback. And that's the biggest thing, is you're making the quarterback, feel the pressure. Then we signed Adrian Amos of the Bears, which I thought was funny because all the Bears fans were like, yeah, I'd like to bring back Adrian Amos. He's a solid safety, doesn't make mistakes. Then he goes to the Packers and they're like, he's trash. Have fun with him. He's bad. He doesn't even intercept the ball. It's like, okay. Then Preston Smith from the Redskins, who's another like promising young linebacker pass rusher that also had a bunch of sacks.
He's someone who impressed me, and I didn't even like watch the Redskins that much, but I think that Preston Smith might be one of the underrated picks of the offseason so far for the Packers.
Yeah, from what I saw from him, like he looked really good.
Yeah, and he's always been wanting to work with Zadarius as well. So like that's gonna be a crazy scary combo if they start meshing.
Yeah, they both. Yeah, they were talking about how in college when they were gonna get drafted, they're like, "Hey man," like they like met up and they're like, "Man, it'd be crazy if we played together." Like they were talking about that. Now they do. So that's nice because it's gonna help motivate them to play. And then they just seem like good dudes. And I think that's one of the biggest things. Like Zadarius Smith drove like 14 hours to tell his mom that she doesn't have to work anymore because he can like pay for her stuff. Preston Smith like took a picture with his daughter like in the Lambeau Field thing with the trophies there, being like, "Hey, I'm here," and he's like with his family. Like they just look like good people, not like Kansas City Chief players. They look like they actually are good people, and they're gonna.
We'll get into that. Right? We'll get into that one.
I don't even know, man.
And then the Packers signed Billy Turner, which was kind of like an out of nowhere. Like, why are we giving this guy $7 million a year? But he's apparently he can play like everything but center. Like he can play guard, tackle. He's like a good versatile hybrid type of lineman. Yeah, so I think
he can play defense as well as offense.
Yeah, so I think our new coach is trying to like do that type of hybrid run scheme or something. So he just wanted like that type of guy. So that's fine with me. We also have offensive linemen injured like every day. So any type of depth on the line is also very good.
Never hurts, man.
Yeah. So
how happy and how much and how high did Aaron Rodgers jump when they finally got rid of Perry?
Oh, he had to be extremely ecstatic. When they actually signed free agents that are going to be starters on the team, he had to be very excited. Like it's every one of them, even the like Zadarius Smith, who was a backup, like is still better than our pass rush. I think there was a stat that said Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith combined had like 120 quarterback pressures. The entire Packer defense last year had like 88. Like those two guys alone had more than our defense. So that is like a major upgrade. Then the thing with like Amos is they're like, he's a solid safety. He's not going to make mistakes, but he's not going to do anything flashy. I'm like, dude, have you seen our safety play for the last like 10 years? It has been the worst. Like having a guy that's consistent out there is exactly what we need. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, the Bears signed Clinton Dix. So I'm like, first off, there's a reason we traded him for a 4th round pick, which I'm very happy about. And the Redskins fans are like, yeah, we shouldn't have did that. Like, he might actually do well with the Bears because he's going to be given the opportunity to like make plays on the ball. But that's his thing, is like he makes plays on the ball. And because he does that, he misses tackles. He blows a lot of coverages. He's just... that's the most frustrating part about him, is just the missed tackles and just the dumb mistakes that he makes. I just keep getting flashbacks. 2-point conversion, NFC Championship game, Seattle. It was like God, who was? I think it was what's that one? Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders?
Who are you talking? The
NFL analyst, old primetime, yeah.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders.
He was like destroying He was like, what are you doing? You just gave up on the play. That should be the easiest play secondary player makes in his life. This is the NFC Championship game, and you're just giving up. And I was like, that that just destroyed my haha Clinton Dix like fandom. I was like, yeah, what is he doing? So I'll gladly take Adrian Amos as a starter. Very happy about that. So I'm happy. I like all the Packers moves, and now we're set for the draft.
Mm-hmm. Know that feel, baby.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
I mean, the Packers, looking at that, going back to the figure that Rob linked from Troublesome Kangaroo, the Packers don't really put a lot of emphasis on tight end, considering that they're second in the league for going after tight ends. But like who's their current tight end? I don't even remember.
We currently have Jimmy Graham and Mercedes Lewis, and
so at old folks' home.
Yeah, and then we got that one guy that scored a touchdown against Seattle that one game that I thought was Jimmy Graham, but it wasn't. I forgot his name, but like he might be good. I don't know. He looked good that game. We need a tight end very badly. In fact, I wouldn't be mad if we drafted a tight end like with our first pick. There's that one dude everyone's talking about. I forgot his name, but like,
is there
out of Iowa?
Really?
He's out of Iowa. What's his name?
I'll look it up, Coach.
All right, look up out of Iowa. It's probably in a mock draft somewhere. Mock draft. Hold on, I think it's right here.
Noah Fant.
Noah Fant? Is that it?
I don't know.
All right, good.
You're talking about T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah, Hawkinson.
Yeah,
that's it.
T.J. Hawkinson's the
He apparently he's like another Zach Ertz level of tight end. Like he's being projected as that. So he's probably going to go between like 10 and 20.
You got Nick Bosa, Quinnen Williams.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, that's overall pick.
I'm watching Hawkinson's highlights right now. Let's find out.
I'm pretty sure Hawkinson was the one that everyone was talking about. Yeah, it was Hawkinson.
It is Hawkinson.
And then Noah Fant, and then Irv Smith Jr. from Alabama.
Yeah.
Holy shit, he just hurdled a man.
All right, I'm on board.
He hurdled the shit out of him. Yeah, he looks pretty fast for a tight end, to be honest.
Yeah,
but he's the modern tight end, right? Like the really skinny receiver type.
Yeah, which is fine with me. We haven't really had a tight end since like Jermichael Finley, which was like a long time ago.
Oh, Jermichael.
Yep, and before that, I think it was like Bubba Franks in the 90s.
Big Bubba.
Big Bubba Franks.
Yep.
So
Bubba Franks.
booty. So some of the other big free agent signings I want to go over is like the list of like the top free agent signings. First up.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Before we do that.
Okay.
We're all talk about the Chiefs.
We're all we're all fans of individual teams, but we all together are cumulative fans of one very specific team.
Yes.
Go Browns!
The Browns.
Go
the
Browns!
Wow.
We got to talk about the
most
Browns, right?
playoff-bound team of 2019, Coach. You know what's going to happen.
Legit,
We say
actually.
Packers, we say the Jets and the Bucks. Not really, but it's really the Browns, Coach.
Yes. So let's talk about what the Browns did. First up, Browns cut Jamie Collins, linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Browns acquired Olivier Vernon for Kevin Zeitler. And they also got Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, just a little,
just an unknown player there.
Yeah,
you
might
might have heard of him. I don't know.
He comes up occasionally in the news.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because Barry, the parody account, reported that days before as like a joke, and then pretty much the actual trade actually happened.
It was actually like the night before, dude.
Yeah.
And it was almost exactly right outside of like one thing. Like it was crazy.
So the Giants pretty much traded away their star, like face of the franchise.
Like probable future Hall of Famer. Like it's still too early, but like my
Probably,
God,
the only other memorable Giants player that the normal non-football fan can remember, other than Eli, is OBJ, and then
So I think I was looking at his stats, and I feel like the last 2 years has he just been injured?
Yeah, he's been injured quite a lot.
Yeah, because his first 3 years, so he started in 2014. He was a first-round pick, and he got 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. Then he had 1,450 yards and 13 touchdowns. Then he had 1,367 yards, 10 touchdowns. Then 2017, he only played 4 games, 2 starts, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Last year, 12 games for 6 touchdowns, 1,000 yards. So he hasn't been what he was when we think back to like star power Odell Beckham. So maybe that's part of the reason they did it. But
I don't even know.
It's another one of those, like, it might be one of those things where he just needed a change of scenery too.
Yeah.
Or just, not Eli Manning, who's like 80 years old, throwing him the ball.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, is that like you look at his stats and they're, I mean, incredible in those first 3 years. Like that's extremely good. Especially considering he's not actually that tall. He's 5'11", so he's not. He's a speed guy. He's not not that big target wide receiver like a Julio Jones or something. But you also have to keep in mind Eli Manning is the one passing to him. So now you got Mr. I'm feeling dangerous throwing to him, bombing at every play. I don't know, dude. I think he's in line to have a fucking year.
Yeah. And
Like
now you
a
have Jarvis
career
Landry at the 2.
And they love each other. It's like the greatest bromance in football. They've been talking about playing together for like the entire time they've been in the league.
Yeah.
Browns also signed Sheldon Richardson to a 3-year, $36 million contract. Ex-Jet. Very good. I think that was a great signing.
Yeah.
Greg Robertson, as well as Philip Gaines, has re-signed, and Demetrius Harris as well. I'm very excited to watch the Browns actually do something.
I think every week you just slowly become more of a Browns fan, less of a Buccaneers fan.
We didn't mention this, but they did also sign Kareem Hunt.
That is true.
Yeah. So
Whoa.
I mean,
signing him and getting him out of jail are two different things. Here,
so
Rob.
he's suspended. He's suspended what, 8 games? I think.
Yeah. Which
So
is, I thought it would be like a year. But it's like 8 games is like.
I mean, you would think that it would be even more than that. I mean, he just, there's a little misunderstanding about him, kind of breaking toddler's arm, but it's.
Oh wait, no,
that was Tyreek Hill. That's the other chief.
Tyreek Hill.
Different person.
Yeah.
That was the other guy.
If we were talking about, I would have not even brought it up if it were the other.
Next, like Pat Mahomes went to the same place that Robert Kraft did for a happy ending. God, jeez.
Oh man.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Wait, what did Hunt do then?
He kicked a woman
In the face.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Real bad luck. Yeah. Although, I said this, I think, during the podcast, like when it happened, but it's not what he did was not the utmost worst thing ever. It looks like he got into a drunken fight and he got out of hand and he did, reprehensible things, but he's not Ray Rice, right? I don't know if you guys ever saw the Ray Rice video. That is horrifying. Yeah.
Where he legit just like knocks her out in the elevator like that.
That will pretty much piss off any man who watches that.
Yeah, it's very So he's not the devil, but he might be a demon prince. So
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs slowly falling apart, and normally the Bengals pick up these players, but now the Browns, I guess they took a shot on Kareem Hunt. So maybe he'll turn it around. I mean, I like to believe that people like with second chances do like improve themselves.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what happened with Tyreek Hill. I thought he had like a thing, and then there's like, hey, it looks like you turned it around, and then they're like, oh, he like broke his like 3-year-old's arm, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's not good, but
In fairness, it is very much allegedly right now. Like, it's really confusing. I've been trying to follow on it and see what's happening there.
Allegedly.
Well,
Yeah.
it's because like the last I heard, what happened was it was a police report filed, but I'm not sure who filed it, and it was
It was the 3-year-old, Rob.
Well, then the 3-year-old had a broken arm, and it was supposedly a domestic violence case against Tyreek Hill. Then, like a day later, it was not that, and then I think a day after that, it was that again, but it was also a domestic violence claim against both parents. So it's all very, up in the air right now. But
This was literally the 3-year-old filing all these.
right, maybe
It
I
is,
do. Yeah,
It's
but if
a bad situation.
If that man fucking broke a 3-year-old's arm, I don't give a shit how fast he is. Get him the fuck out of the league. Go play for Vince McMahon in the XFL or something.
Well, unfortunately, Rob, it doesn't work like that because the NFL loves that kind of stuff.
Yep.
It brings all kinds of good publicity. There's no such thing as bad press in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, you hope that people don't do that. But here we
they
are.
probably will.
Yeah.
But anyway, here's some other big free agent signings. Well, some of the big free agents that were out there. Jadeveon Clowney got franchised, so he's going back to the Texans.
And play a whole 2 games in every season.
Yeah. We could also explain the franchise tag.
Yes.
So pretty much every team can franchise one player. It's one player, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you get one a year.
And then that means you keep them for that year, but you have to pay them a lot of money essentially.
Yeah, so essentially how the franchise tag works is if you can't reach an agreement by the end of the season, the team that currently has the rights has the ability to place a franchise tag on a player, which is just a 1-year deal, and the salary is fully guaranteed. So it doesn't matter if you get injured or whatever, it's fully guaranteed, and it's the average of the top 5 contracts at that position. So if you get franchise tag at the tight end position, the highest 5 contracts for tight ends in the NFL get averaged. That's what you're taking home. You can actually use it successively on a player, which is what happened with Le'Veon Bell, for instance.
Yep.
Where teams basically abused it on Le'Veon Bell. The Steelers abused it on Le'Veon Bell because they gave him 2 successive franchise tags. And how it works is every successive franchise tag, I think it goes up 40%. I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so something like that. So basically, by the 3rd franchise tag, you pretty much can't franchise them. Otherwise, it's just madness. But yeah, so that's essentially what happened to Le'Veon Bell, where teams were abusing this system in order to keep him on 1-year deals because he's a running back, and they have a very short shelf life.
Yeah.
So
he's looking for a
signs
1-year deal.
Le'Veon Bell, and he's just all of a sudden his lawyer over here. So they kept abusing him.
You can go back in the podcast. I have been defending L. Bell for a long time here, actually. And now Antonio Brown, not so much, but L. Bell, on the other hand.
That's the other one, Antonio Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Traded to the Oakland Raiders for a 3rd rounder and a 5th rounder.
Yeah, my God.
That is... people always made the joke even Madden wouldn't let that trade happen.
Right, yeah.
But Madden also doesn't have Antonio Brown sitting out the last week of the season and then complaining about everybody.
Yep.
So that is... We'll see what happens with Oakland.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll do great.
AB's it's so weird, right? Because he literally just got signed, and then he wants a trade. Says that Ben Roethlisberger has an owner mentality, and then gets traded. I'm assuming he didn't have a choice really in where he's going. Well, actually, no, that's not a lie. That's a lie, because he did have sort of a choice, because originally he was going to go to the Bills, and he found out apparently through social media that there were rumors of him going to the Bills. And supposedly, he frantically called his agent and said, "No, I will retire before I go to the Bills." So
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a meme for a while though, because everyone was laughing at AB because they were like, this is the biggest FU that the Steelers could have done was send him to the Bills.
Right.
Mhm.
and everyone believed it, but it was unconfirmed.
Yeah.
Obviously. But I mean, at the same time, is there really that much of a difference right now to the Raiders? I mean, like,
Well-
yeah, Chucky's got a plan, but his seems like a 5-year plan.
Raiders
versus-
beat the Steelers last year. Just throwing
They
it
did
out
beat
there.
them. They did beat them. I mean,
Maybe
I'm
that's
not.
why I
Look,
wanted
I'm not postulating the Raiders are worse than the Bills, but it's kind of a side grade. If I'm being honest, right now, we'll have to see.
Maybe
what,
he just
what-
wants to go to
Yeah,
Vegas.
see, you know,
Be going
yeah.
to Vegas in like a year or so.
Dude, like, I'll tell you this straight up right now. I like the Raiders team that you're looking at right now is gonna look almost nothing like the Raiders team that you'll see on the field
I
next
agree
year.
on that.
And
Mhm.
probably almost nothing like the team the year after that, because
It tends
what
to-
Gruden is doing is just fucking. You know how like some teams like reload or rebuild.
Yep.
John Gruden is getting all of the ammo caches and stashing them in the Raiders warehouse right now. Like he's got so many. He's
Yeah.
got like what, like 3 first-round picks or 2 first-round
Yeah.
picks, this
And Mike
year?
Mayock.
Yeah, and Mike Mayock looks like he's making some moves, dude. Like,
Yeah.
As someone who had Gruden as a head coach for many years, I can tell you that he will never publicly admit that last year just didn't matter. He was just cleaning out the trash, but
yeah,
everyone knew that's what he was
Mhm.
doing.
that's exactly what I was doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple other notable mentions here, Coach. Terrell Suggs going over to the Arizona Cardinals, which is something
Yeah.
that I did
Mhm.
not realize happened. He agreed
Terrell
to a 2-year
Suggs.
deal.
He's
still
been
playing.
in the league like since 2004. I
Yeah.
want to say.
It's
Like,
insane.
wow.
Yeah. It's amazing that he's still playing.
Yeah, and he's with the Ravens every year.
Mhm.
Every one of those years was with the Ravens.
Yeah.
Now he's going to go with the Cardinals.
I mean,
Mark
he's
Ingram.
Probably
Mark
Hall of
Ingram-
Famer, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Mark
Yeah.
Ingram has agreed in principle to a contract for 3 years for the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Their running back position, which is also a pretty decent pickup for them.
Yeah.
Also had, let's see here, Frank Gore, of course. We can't go
Hell yeah.
off season talking about the living legend
I fucking love Frank Gore.
to the Bills. To
Yeah.
the Bills, Rob. The Bills.
I know. I'm sad that I have to play against Frank Gore, but God, I love that man.
You don't play team. He doesn't play against teams. Teams have to play against him.
Yeah, pretty much,
Frank
honestly.
Gore.
He just keeps
It
going.
doesn't make sense. He just doesn't make sense, honestly. Like, how does he keep doing 1,000-yard seasons?
He's
He's
a
like
running
a
back.
million. Yeah. How does he do that?
Clinton Dix, of course, signing with the Bears for a
Yep.
1-year contract. We had that one. And Preston Brown re-signing with the Bengals for their linebackers, of course. And so is Eifert as well. That was one that I actually didn't realize had to happen, but he re-signed just for a 1-year deal with the Bengals for up to $6.5 million with a 1.2 signing bonus. Pretty
The
good.
Bengals also made some questionable moves in the offseason.
Did they?
First they cut Vontaze Burfict.
Yeah,
They
thank God.
signed John Miller, a guard, and I'm pretty sure all the players they signed to like $6 or $7 million deals for these guys that like shouldn't be paid that much money.
And how are they making that much money in the first place in Bengal territory?
Dude,
I
To
don't
get that-
know.
What are the Bengals really done? I mean, they've made how many times have they made the playoffs in the last 10 years?
once, twice, maybe.
Is
Last
it
10
twice?
years? No, I feel like they've
I
made it
think
like 3 or
they-
4 times.
With Dalton,
They
I
don't
think
win,
They made it
but-
at least twice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they don't win, but
Marvin Lewis.
Yeah.
Well, they don't got Marvin Lewis anymore, so who knows? Maybe they'll go back to being the Browns, so just like they used to be.
That's the question, though, right? Like with the Bengals, because like Marvin Lewis, I think everybody after 16 years was just
Yeah.
like, it's time, right, to move
Yeah.
on. But I mean, the thing is, like Marvin Lewis wasn't a bad coach, really.
Yeah,
Like
he turned them
was-
around.
Yeah, like the Bengals were a joke until he got there, pretty much, and then he honestly, it's still a pretty good organization. It's just not had a lot of
Sorry.
postseason
Yeah.
to break in, actually the Bengals in the last 10 seasons up to the 2019 season have made the playoffs 6 times.
Oh, they see,
Oh.
there you go.
2009, 2011, 12, 13, 14, and 15.
Yeah, and so the other
And
thing
they've all
is-
lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they lost first round every time, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they've not. They have not won a playoff game since the wild card back in 1991 versus the Houston Oilers of that time.
Yeah. So that's pretty much why Marvin Lewis was fired. But he's a pretty good coach, honestly. Honestly, one of the better ones in the league.
If you look at their old record, like from 1991 up until 2002, they had one winning season, and it wasn't even a winning season. It was 8-8.
Oh, jeez.
And then Marvin Lewis came in, and they started winning. So really, like, he helped make them a good, like, contending team.
A great wild card punching bag coach.
Well, so here's the other thing: is that all beyond just being a good coach, he was also their talent evaluator, and he was very good at that. Like the Bengals are confounding to a lot of people because they have such a talented team every year, but they don't go anywhere. And they always pick up these new pieces that are like so good. I mean, you got like guys like AJ Green on the field, but for some reason, then nothing ever really happens. So that's going to be interesting to see in this offseason how the Bengals do without Marvin Lewis, because it's been nearly 2 decades.
They spent a lot of money signing a total of 6 players, so
Coach,
we can't talk about this year's offseason without the biggest move ever, the one that the world has been thankful for. I think I speak for everyone here saying that thank God this happened so we don't have to suffer through him anymore. Jason Witten coming out of retirement for 1 year deal to go back to the Cowboys.
Third.
He's gonna play football again.
Sorry, Giants fans. Third and Witten is back.
Thank God.
God, we don't have to listen to Jason Witten anymore. And all worship your new overlord, Tony Romo, as your best player analyst.
I hear that ESPN wants to bring in Peyton Manning.
That is the current.
That would be awesome because Peyton Manning is also a very smart guy who loves to talk about football.
Yeah,
I would love. I mean, he's great on the detail series, and he's also just like really funny. Like he's just a funny dude. So I think it could be good for sure if they can manage to get him, because he doesn't. I don't think he wants to really.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to give him a lot of money.
They would have to pay a lot, probably a lot more money than he made playing football for.
Maybe
They destroyed the Booger Mobile. It's gone.
Thank God for that.
Hopefully they burned it and pissed on its ashes.
I like McFarland, but man, that was stupid.
I'm personally of the opinion that they should get Pat McAfee in the booth on Monday Night Football, because it seems like the premier games are not coming to Monday night anymore, and Pat McAfee is a god at handling those. He did one game last season, and it was great. He did a great job. Yeah. I'd love to see him. He's hilarious. He's a very funny guy.
Other moves, Joe Flacco, of course.
To the Broncos. Fourth rounder.
Yeah.
That's I think that's pretty. John Elway likes his old quarterbacks to come in. And be like, hey, take the reins. Himself. Yeah.
And you know what? Like I have shit on Joe Flacco in the past, and probably will continue to do so. But I tell you what, honestly, his entire time in Baltimore, they did not help him on offense.
Yeah,
like he had bad stats, and I don't think he's the greatest quarterback by any stretch. But that
offense, middle of the road.
It's that defense that carries Baltimore, though.
Yeah, I mean,
it's always been like that.
Yeah, but like you can't shine that much when you're throwing to like 300-pound 40-year-old receivers every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's possible that he has a little bit of a career renaissance in Denver.
Yeah, I think that's the type of team he needs to go to as well. It's kind of like a similar Ravens team, but they just rely a lot on defense and running the ball.
Yep,
which is good with Lindsey.
Yep,
and then.
Kareem
Broncos.
Jackson also going to the Broncos.
Who is?
Oh yeah, Kareem Jackson.
Kareem Jackson.
I was going to say the Broncos also trade away, because of the Joe Flacco, they trade away Case Keenum to the Redskins.
Yep.
So they got a new quarterback now, Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Remember when he was leading the Vikings to the Super Bowl only 2 years ago? And now everyone's like, yeah, you take him.
And then he was replaced by Rob's best friend ever, Kirk Cousins.
You know what's funny is I hope. So wait, I keep forgetting where Case Keenum is even just now. Where is Case Keenum?
It's like where in the world is Case Keenum?
Wait, what team is he on right now?
Case Keenum reminds me a lot of Ryan Fitzpatrick now.
This is a legitimate question that I'm asking, by the way.
I just said it. He's on the Redskins.
He's on the
I know.
Redskins.
I literally just forgot.
You okay, Rob?
Yeah, but
Trey Flowers signing to the Lions, along with Danny Amendola, among other names, agreed to a one-year deal.
Where players go to die. The Detroit
there's
Lions.
a couple.
Yep.
There's a couple more meme free agent signings that we should talk about. Like for instance, Dolphins have moved on from Ryan Tannehill.
Yep. Oh yeah, Tannehill to the Titans. That's actually a really good situation. I like that because he's probably going to get to start a few games after Mariota gets hurt again.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting because Mariota and Tannehill are, I mean, I'd imagine close enough that they would have to say that there is a little bit of a QB controversy there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Tannehill's got way more experience for sure.
Yeah.
way more, and to be honest, way more volume numbers than Mariota has.
Yeah. He's a little more of a pocket passer than Mariota. So that could be good.
We can't talk about quarterback signings without mentioning your boy, Coach Nick Foles, going to the Jags, Coach.
To the Jaguars, Nick Foles, Big Nick, 4 years, $88 million with $50 million guaranteed.
Got himself that paycheck, Coach.
And they cut the Bortles.
They cut Blake Bortles. Devin Funchess actually going to the Colts. I didn't realize that happened.
Yeah,
I'm just going through. These are, by the way, I'm just skimming over the more notable names here.
So, Colts fans are pretty upset about the Devin Funchess thing. Not that Devin Funchess is a bad player, but because they signed him to like a really high contract for who he is.
Yeah.
So that's a thing.
Who knew? But sometimes when you sign someone based off of their name alone, that doesn't work.
So yes, the Jags did drop the boat, and the Bortles train is not. It's not stuck in the station. It's leaving, and it's going to L.A. He's backing up Jared Goff now. And I just want to say, like, no matter how you feel about Bortles as a starter, as a backup, he's got to be like one of the top 3 backups in the league right now.
Well, Bortles went to the Rams.
Yeah. So he's backing up Goff. Yeah. So as a backup, he's got to be like top 3 in the league right now. Honestly, like I mean, it might be, since Nick Foles is starting in his previous spot, it might be the best backup in the league right now.
Dan Bailey re-signing with the Vikings. I didn't realize that Amir Abdullah had already left the Lions and re-signing with the Vikings as well, but the terms have been undisclosed right now.
Yeah. Landon Collins, 6 years, $84 million to the Redskins.
Yep.
Yeah. That is a crazy signing. It's weird because like the safety pool in free agency is massive right now.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, granted, Landon Collins was probably number 1 or number 2 out of that free agent pool.
Yeah.
But even so, I mean, that's an absurd contract for.
We talked about Anthony Barr, Coach, already, I believe. Rob's best friend.
Malik Jackson, the ex-Jaguar, going to the Eagles, 3 years, $30 million. That's kind of one of those kind of scanned over signings that I think could work out well. Like, he was really good, and then he fell off, probably because the Jaguars also fell off. So going to Philadelphia might give him like a shot in the arm.
I didn't realize that the Jets had also gotten C.J. Moseley.
Yeah. Well, we even talked about it in this podcast.
I know, but I sort of spaced out on that.
It's all right. 5 years, we all space out on the Jets.
$85 million deal for a linebacker. That's insane.
It is very expensive, but the reality is that when you're a bad team, you got to overpay for players. Like, that's just kind of how it is. Now, with that said, though, one thing that I think nobody in the Jets fandom is very mixed on our GM, Mike McCagnon. I actually like him, and you know what? This offseason so far, pretty positive in his pros column. But no one, I think, in the Jets fandom can say that he does contracts poorly, because all of our contracts are so like good compared to the Tannenbaum era. Like we used to have Mike Tannenbaum, and it was just the fucking worst. Like all our players were just like these big balloon contracts that you couldn't get out of. Like Le'Veon, for instance. Like we're paying most of his money this year while we have the most cap room. I think we're paying him like $45 million this year or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then like within 2 years we can get out of it. Like as soon as we have to pay Sam Darnold. So if he's starting to drop off, we can get out of it even then. So
that's
Moseley
really
the same way. So
You know who I bet is the happiest person out of any free agent signing right now? Out of all the league, coach.
Buccaneers left tackle Donovan Smith.
No. Dante Moncrief finally going to another good team since the Colts.
Yeah.
After spending one season in Jacksonville, he gets signed, picked up, multi-year deal to the Steelers to replace Antonio Brown, which is I think that pick is one that's going to be probably one of the most underrated, or at least talked about picks, but it's actually going to have a huge impact. Because I've liked watching him play since he was playing under the Colts.
Yeah,
and he is a solid replacement. Honestly, that's going to be a scary matchup. Him with big men. They got Eli Rogers as well for for the re-sign of 2 years. Desean Jackson, of course, going to the Eagles. Also mentioned that the Jets also signed someone else, of course, Le'Veon Bell again, which I cannot overestimate or overemphasize.
Oh, this one's actually kind of another like random signing. Eric Weddle to the Rams, 2 years, $12 million. That's a good deal too.
Yep.
Yeah, he's probably going to be on like a snap count. Like I'd imagine he's not going to be playing. He's not going to be starting every snap. I'd imagine. But I mean, even so, like that type of veteran presence. I mean, he's a great safety. I mean,
finally, I have to get Rob's opinion on this because I know that these guys are best friends. The Washington Redskins re-sign Adrian Peterson to a 2-year, $8 million deal. Rob, take it away, Rob.
Well, I can't wait for the Redskins to sign Vontaze Burfict as well, and pretty much every other piece of shit in the league. So that's going to be a thing.
They somehow signed Tyreek Hill and Kareem.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
The Chiefs also got Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger.
Mm-hmm.
This could be
Tyrann Mathieu. Yeah.
Yep. The one other is the Bears. They got 2 years Mike Davis, running back from Seattle, and Buster Skrine, 3 years, $16 million.
Yeah, that's a mistake. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a mistake, Chicago.
I'm loving that mistake. Loving that one. Bryce Callahan going to Denver, who was their good player there, and now they're replacing him with Buster Skrine.
By the way, $21 million contract.
Technically pronounced screen, but
Buster Screen, busting those screens
you're
open.
Pretty much the only time that you're going to hear that though is when the official turns on his microphone and says Buster Screen has been flagged for the play. So, so yeah. By the way, side note, can I say though, I'm glad Nick Foles has a new home, but I feel really bad for him because next year I feel like he's going to get shit on by NFL fans because I don't think he's going to have a good year. And I don't think he's going to have a good year, not because he's a bad player, but because the Jaguars, I mean, I don't even know what they're doing on offense. Like, seriously, like so the year before that, they have Blake Bortles go to the playoffs, get to the championship game, and flounder because of coaching, by the way, not because of like Blake Bortles' poor play or their offense's poor play, because of shitty coaching. So they flounder in the playoffs, and then they cut number 1 and number 2 wide receivers, and guess what? Blake Bortles does badly. How weird. and then they cut Blake Bortles, and then the one shining hope that they had on offense in that shitty year that they just had was Dante Moncrief. What do? Well, let's cut him too. Get him the fuck out of here. We don't want good players on offense. So Nick Foles, who the fuck is he throwing to? Is he throwing to anybody? So I feel bad for him, honestly.
I don't know who their wide receivers are.
I literally don't know who their wide receivers are. Like, I just straight up, do they have names?
They've got to draft some, yeah.
One of them, they've got Chris Conley, Rob.
Okay. That's
all
a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's a guy.
Person, human being.
Yep.
That is certainly a player in the NFL.
Yeah.
Some Ravens, some good Ravens signings. Mark Ingram going to the Ravens, and Earl Thomas going to the Ravens.
Yep. Yeah, the Ravens are weird.
Yeah, they are weird.
It looks like a reload, but then I don't know. Like I don't know. I hope a full offseason as a starter with like a full offensive system designed around Lamar Jackson will help him improve. But like the rest of the stuff that they're doing on offense seems like the same kind of shit they did to Joe Flacco, which is just like, well, he's not going to throw because he doesn't have anybody to throw to.
Why would we throw the ball? We could run.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So
Jets re-sign Henry Anderson.
Yeah, that
like
actually is a big one.
Yeah.
That's because he's old, but he actually had a great year last year.
Yeah. Speaking of old pass rushers, Cameron Wake signed with the Titans.
He's still playing?
He's 37 years old.
Holy fuck.
And they signed him to 3 years, $23 million. That's how desperate they are for pass rush in Tennessee. I think because Arakpo left last year, and they're just like, what do we do now?
Get an older guy.
Get an older guy. And then actually the Buccaneers, I forgot, signed Brashad Perryman, who was going to go to Cleveland, and then they got Odell Beckham Jr., and then he's like, well, I don't want to go there anymore, so it's to Tampa Bay.
Yep.
So that's something.
Definitely not going to matter, Coach.
Nope, it's not. And the Bears got Cordero Patterson, which is actually, I think, a pretty good signing. I think he'll fit in with them pretty nicely. And Matt Paradis goes to the Panthers. That's another big one. Not as exciting on offensive line. But
it's another big signing.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Fitzmagic himself is going to be. I'm just assuming the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins.
Well, we already mentioned it, but yeah.
Unless the Dolphins trade up to get a quarterback in the draft, that's definitely going to be their starter.
Yeah.
What is the Dolphins' position anyway in the
I think 12 or 13 or something like that.
Middle of the pack almost, pretty much.
But
the mediocrity that doesn't give you the top pick and also doesn't give you
Yeah.
Also, Randall Cobb, breaking news, Randall Cobb goes to the Cowboy coach.
Oh, wow. Damn. That's an interesting sign. I think he can do well in Dallas.
He's old too now, right?
He's getting up there. He's had a lot of injuries. He's definitely lost a step. But he still made some good plays. Like when we beat the Bears last year, he was the one who caught it and ran it for a touchdown. Like he's still got some stuff in him. So I think that can work out. Especially because apparently it's a 1-year, $5 million deal. So I think that's a great deal.
Yeah.
Bradley Roby on the Texans. He signed a 1-year, $10 million deal. That's another pretty good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Saffold, an offensive guard, goes to the Titans, 4 years, $44 million. That's actually a very good signing because their line has gotten Marcus Mariota destroyed. So any type of help on the line there is very good.
Yeah.
The Chargers picked up Thomas Davis, the Panther, who's 36 years old.
Yeah.
But he's still good. I mean,
it makes sense for a team like them, right? Because they're shooting for the Super Bowl. That's it. You got 1 or 2 more years of Phillip Rivers.
Yeah,
might as well
die now.
I mean, think of how many kids he can have in those 2 years.
Yeah, he's got 20 kids. Give a couple more.
I'm surprised you haven't talked about the Aaron Rodgers re-signing yet, Coach.
The Aaron Rodgers re-signing?
He signed an extension, 4 years. He's the highest paid player in NFL history up until maybe when Russell Wilson gets his contract. But he signed an extension for 4 years, $134 million.
When did this happen?
Extension.
I didn't hear about this.
That was at the end of the 2018 season, Coach.
Oh,
well, yeah, that happened a while back.
But that's the offseason, though.
It's last offseason, yeah.
No, it's at the what? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that seems like it happened already in my mind.
Well, no, it did, but I'm saying it's in the off season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jordy Nelson, I'm hoping comes back to the Packers on like a 1 year, $1 million deal. It'd be very nice, but it's probably not going to happen. He'll probably go to like Seattle. And then John Kuhn retired. Great guy. Helped us win a Super Bowl. Kuhn. Great. Loved him. One of the like last great fullbacks I can remember, really.
Yeah.
That's another big trade. D Ford from the Chiefs to the 49ers for a second rounder. That's actually really big. Their defense is getting kind of scary when you look at them.
The 49ers are weird, right? They're gonna be a really interesting team next year, because last year was supposed to be, they're spooky, but now they're really spooky. So
and then they have another top draft pick. They could get like one of these top like young defensive guys. Like imagine if they get Nick Bosa. You have D Ford, Nick Bosa. What's the DeForest Buckner? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what I thought. So you've got some crazy pieces.
Didn't he have a controversy, or am I thinking something else?
You're thinking of somebody else. DeForest Buckner, they drafted like a year or two ago, and he's like, or no, wait, maybe. No, yeah, it's definitely. He had 12 sacks last year.
Yeah. I was thinking of somebody. There was somebody else on the team that was on the Niners who they had to get rid of. I don't remember who had some controversy.
Yeah, I think. Was it Eric Reed?
No, I don't remember. It was like a linebacker, I think.
One linebacker retired, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was it Pat Willis?
No.
I don't know. Don't mind me. Forget me.
It doesn't matter. Alden Smith?
I think so. I think it was Alden Smith.
Yeah, it's probably Alden Smith. He went to the Raiders and then he got let go there. Yeah. And then, I forgot the Jets acquired Kaleki Osemele.
Yeah, I'm actually pumped for that because I really like. Is it Kalechi or Kaleki?
I have no idea.
All right, well, I've always liked Osemele actually, and he's old, right? I mean, he's like 30, which is right around like the end of a lineman's
practically dead at that point.
Yeah, but I mean he's a fucking fantastic guard. Like he's been one of the best in the league for a long time, and in fact only last year was a down year for him. So I'm pretty pumped about that. He'll be an important piece for our O-line because that's the main problem that we have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see. Was there anything else we missed? Jordan Hicks from the Eagles to the Cardinals. Cardinals getting a good linebacking crew over there, actually. Jordan Hicks, Terrell Suggs. I think they got somebody else.
Yeah.
Let's see. That might be all the big signings. The Ndamukong Suh still unsigned. That's another one.
That's surprising, actually, right? Because he can still play, can he?
He can, but he's kind of like a head case.
Right. Well, kind of, you say.
And he's a giant douche. And I think he's like losing a step as well as he gets older. So it's just kind of nobody really wants to
from stepping
deal with
on
that.
so many freaking necks and knees and calves.
Yeah.
Every single play.
Lamarcus Joyner, another one of the big safety signings, going to the Raiders from the Rams. That's actually a really big one.
The Raiders.
Yeah.
And still available, Ezekiel Ansah. He's actually a good pass rusher, still available.
He was going to be in free agency last year, and the Jets were gonna sign him, and we were like kind of pumped about it. And then he played another year in Detroit, and wasn't that good. And so now people are like, maybe.
Jay Ajayi apparently visiting the Colts, so that could be a thing.
So he got cut then?
He's a free agent, I think.
Okay.
And he had his ACL last year, and then knee injuries, so he's kind of high risk, maybe high reward. It's like
well, he's got bone on bone in his knee, right?
Yeah,
like that's the so. But I mean, that would be a great signing for like the Jets, actually.
Yeah, that actually would be
right. It'd be fantastic.
But even the Colts could use that. It's like screw it. Maybe we'll get Muhammad Wilkerson, I think, is going to re-sign with Green Bay. A lot of signs are pointing to that, like another 1 year. which he didn't play. He wasn't bad. He wasn't fantastic like his old self, but he's still pretty decent.
My team signed the punter.
They did.
Actually, you guys want to do like a real quick rundown of team needs still not addressed and what your team right now looks like going into next season before the draft?
Yeah, we can still we can do that. Hold on, there's like a couple more I wanted to just really do. Eric Berry, safety chief, still not signed. He'll probably go. Zach Brown,
Surprising,
Redskins.
Too.
Yep. Zach Brown actually played really well last year, too. I'm surprised he didn't sign. Clayton Geathers with the Colts. Trey Boston still unsigned from the Cardinals.
That is surprising.
Adrian Claiborne, Maurice Claiborne, Derek Morgan, and Dez Bryant. But I think Dez Bryant might go back to the Saints. So
yeah, he probably will.
Yeah, we'll see. But those are pretty much... Oh, and TJ Lang got cut by the Lions, but he's like falling apart. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah, it's pretty much all the free agent stuff. So yes, let's hear. Let's think of some team needs. What do you think with the Jets?
The Jets subreddit was pretty, hardcore on getting Matt Paradis, who was the center for the Lions, I want to say, but he became a free agent. And we didn't get him, but we did offer him, I think, the biggest contract. So he just didn't sign with us, which sucks. And as soon as that happened, that first like day of free agency, the Jets subreddit was like, "Oh my God, why? See now, all you Mike McCagnon people, now you're so happy, aren't you?" And then the day later, he signs Le'Veon Bell, and they're like, "Oh, actually, he's pretty good."
No, Paradis was with the Broncos.
It was
apparently they had ankle concerns about him. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. Well, I think he's also like 30, so he's so. The biggest need that we still haven't addressed is O-line, because our O-line was really bad last year, and we haven't really addressed it in free agency at all, except for Moseley, who's good, but not the long-term option, or not the long-term solution. So I'm hoping that we're going to draft somebody, but the one huge mark against Mac as a GM is that he just does not he just doesn't get O-linemen, like, ever. Yeah. Like, he doesn't get him in free agency. He doesn't get him in the draft at all. Like, I think he's actually drafted the least O-lineman out of any GM in the league since he's been here. So I really hope that we address that in the draft. So that's our biggest hole, because the thing is, if Sam Darnold and Le'Veon Bell don't have a line, then they're not going to be able to do shit anyway, right? So so that could happen next year. That could be our collapse, is the O-line. The other thing is we do need a number one wide receiver. Like, we got Jamison Crowder, and that's great. He could be our slot guy, and he seems like he's quite good. So I'm really happy about that. It's a good signing. But we still need a number one, because Robbie Anderson and Quincy Enunwa both have their own, significant issues that relate to them not being able to be a number one. So we need a number one. Hopefully we draft it, but it looks like, nobody else is available right now in free agency. And then on the defensive side, the main thing is still pass rush. We were hoping to fix it with Anthony Barr, but he fucked us. So, that's not going to happen.
Still out there is Justin Houston.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. He must be having like intense contract negotiations, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah.
You would think people would want to pick him up, because he's still, he's quite young, isn't he?
He's only 30.
Okay.
No, he's practically dead.
Yeah,
he's practically dead. He's still getting sacks, though, so, it's not
that's
like
true.
He's bad right now. Look at Cameron Wake. He's 37. He's still getting like $30 million.
Look at Tom Brady. He's 900.
Yeah.
Look at Methuselah. He's still in the kingdom of heaven. But anyway, So pass rush is still an issue. But this draft is fucking loaded with pass rushers. So
thank God.
So I'm assuming that we're going to be addressing that there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, though, we're trading back, because, as I said, I feel like O-line is a bigger need, because our defense is already, it's not great, but it's not terrible. And pass rush would fix it, but I feel like our offense needs something,
Yeah.
Because eventually it's just gonna run out of steam. It doesn't matter how good your players are if your O-line can't keep them upright. So I'm hoping we address that very heavily in the draft. But other than that, honestly, I feel pretty good about this offseason so far for the Jets. If the draft goes well and we pick well, we pretty much expect a playoff year next year.
Yeah.
And if not, then Mac's probably out. But so we're hoping that is the case. And with the Dolphins imploding and the Bills being the Bills, I think there's a good chance that we can actually do that. So yeah. I'm pretty pumped about next year, honestly.
I actually think the Bills are going to be decent.
They probably will.
Yeah, they've got some decent signings. Like, they're not crazy signings, but they're decent signings. They'll probably draft some more guys. I think they'll probably go 8-8. It seems like maybe 7-9, but they seem like they can at least compete with people.
They've got some ammo in the draft too, don't they? They've got a couple picks.
Yeah, I think they do.
They should.
Yeah.
They pick 9th. So that's pretty good too. I was looking at the draft here, and it looks like it's a lot of defense at the top. Defense and quarterbacks like Dwayne Haskins, Kyler Murray, and then
honestly, they're
rushers.
being inflated too. The QB class is a little bit weak this year, so those guys are getting pushed up draft boards a little bit because there's so few in this draft.
Yeah. Well, it even happened kind of last year. We were just like, wow, it was 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the first round.
Yeah, we thought that there was way too many quarterbacks last year, and boy, that worked out pretty well for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with Sam Darnold, baby. I'm very happy with him.
I'm happy that you got Darnold just so we can say Darnold every single episode of this podcast.
Well, in terms of what the Packers need, we need a tight end. So that would be very nice to get a tight end in the draft. Because Jimmy Graham's 40, and I know he can play basketball, but it doesn't look like he can play football very well anymore. And then we got Mercedes Lewis, who's he's all right. Yeah. He can block, he can make some catches, but we need a tight end. Yeah, he's also Asian. Yeah. We need a young tight end that's going to actually do stuff.
The Packers need their version of Tony Gonzalez, Tony G.
Yeah, they do. Because Jermichael Finley's the last real tight end we had.
Yep.
And then prior to that, or other things we need an offensive tackle because Bulaga's getting up there. So we need somebody to replace him. We could probably use another guard. To be honest, we have Lindsley at center, so that's fine. We have Bakhtiari at the other tackle, so that's fine. It's mainly just a guard and a right tackle, I want to say is what he is. So that would be very nice. I'd take a tight end, a tackle, or a pass rusher in the first round, and I'd be happy with any of those for the Packers. So if they want to take I don't even know, they might trade up. They might package the Saints pick and their pick move up and get Josh Allen or somebody. That would, but the thing is, we've signed all these free agents at pass rushers, so it's do we really need that anymore? So I think if one fell to us, that'd be fine, but I'd rather they just kind of sit where they are and get whatever they need. You can get a tight end, you can get an offensive tackle, you can get, probably whatever you need there.
It seems like that's what they're doing. It seems like they address pass rush and free agency to eliminate that need.
Yeah, I think so too. And then we got a safety, so we don't really need another safety. Well, we could probably use another safety, but it's not as big of a need as it was. We could probably pick up a safety in the mid rounds or late rounds and be fine with that. And then I still think we could draft a wide receiver. We have Devontae Adams at the 1, so we don't need a number 1. We need a solid
else.
Yeah, we need a number 2. We just haven't had a good number 2 that takes the pressure off of Devontae Adams, which shows how good he is because he's getting all the coverage on him and he's still making plays. So we need that guy, and hopefully we draft somebody that's very good. I would, even the second round, I think taking a wide receiver, even the late first with the Saints pick, I'd be happy with that. And running back, we're fine. Aaron Jones is looking good. Even Jamal Williams, our backup, I think is good enough. So I'm not too worried about running back. So I'd say those are our main needs. Maybe even an inside linebacker, actually, come to think. We have Blake Martinez, but we could use like one more linebacker. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did that. And then, actually, we might need a corner too. Oh, God.
We have 2 corners last year?
You basically just have only Aaron Rodgers, apparently.
Yeah. That's all we need. Well, the thing is, we got Jair Alexander. So we have a 1 now. We have a solid number 1 corner. So I'm happy with that. And then we have Josh Jackson, who we took last year. But we need a nickel corner. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
we need a nickel corner. So I think we can get one of those probably in like the 3rd, 4th round.
Yeah.
But it's not like a bit as big of a need as it used to be last year. So I'm fine with that. So I'd say, tight end, offensive tackle, then probably wide receiver, linebacker, corner are our top 5, which will probably all be addressed in the draft.
Yeah, reasonable.
Sinvicta, what do you need on the old Buccaneer train?
Well, Coach, one thing that we definitely don't need is a new punter. We got that one taken care of. It is signed, locked, ironclad. Don't have to worry about it anymore, Coach. Now, the Buccaneers, not being a great defensive team as they once were, definitely are going to need some help on the defense. And luckily, with this 2019 draft, they have help. Whether or not they've got 2, they really cannot screw this up. It is impossible. It is literally impossible for them not to get one of the 2 biggest defensive concerns off the table within the first pick. We're picking number 5. We got lots of really good options. For me, it's down to Devin White from LSU or going after Quinnen Williams from Alabama, defensive tackle, whereas Devin White is a linebacker. Now, I know what you're saying, Coach. You're saying they don't draft people whose name begins with a D. Talking about Derwin James, Devin White. Luckily, Quinnen Williams does not start with a D, Coach. Starts with a Q. I would love to see them take, out of these 2, I would rather go for Quinnen Williams. But if they end up, if for whatever reason he ends up going number 1, which I don't see possible, then I'll be happy with Devin White. The Buccaneers cannot possibly screw this up. There's no way.
Are you guys you guys got the 2nd pick?
They have the 5th pick.
5th pick.
Oh, yeah. You'd have to move up for
Quinnen
Williams, probably.
Yeah, it looks like Quinnen Williams is going to go number 2.
Yeah.
Everybody's mocking Kyler Murray to the Cardinals first round. First overall.
That's madness. I mean,
it's the Cardinals.
Yeah,
don't underestimate the Cardinals' madness. Plus, just the madness that people want a star quarterback. Like they'll do anything. It's like, got to do it. It's the most important thing.
I mean, it just makes no sense to me because Josh Rosen has had 1 year. 1 year on a terrible team with a head coach that was, I believe, a rookie head coach who was fired after 1 year. Why the hell you? Come on, man! You didn't get a fair shake at all. I mean, it's just madness, right? Like if they do that, I mean, which I still have, I'm putting it at like a 1% chance, even though I don't know, the whole league is saying that they're probably going Kyler Murray, which just is insane to me. You just drafted a top 10 quarterback in the or top 10 pick quarterback last year. What? You really saw enough of Josh Rosen? That's it? I don't know.
They still need probably an offensive line, a wide receiver, probably a corner, probably they still need a lot actually in Arizona. So it's like
the Bucs are a non-issue when we can start talking about the Cardinals during the Bucs' off-season woes.
Well, it's gotten to the point where I think like a lot of people are saying it's going to be Kyler Murray and then Quinnen Williams to the 49ers. Then Nick Bosa would either go to the Jets or someone would trade up for him. And then the Raiders, a lot of people saying the Raiders are going to take Dwayne Haskins, the quarterback, or they could go with like a Josh Allen or a Rashawn Gary. And then the Buccaneers would probably have the chance to take either Josh Allen if nobody takes him, or they could take like Rashawn Gary or Devin White. Like it's actually a possibility.
I liked watching him play for the limited times that I've seen him play.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I could would the Buccaneers, if you ask me, would they actually go all out and just trade up for Bosa? I do think they would try to make a pass at it, but I don't think that would actually happen.
Yeah.
I don't think the Niners are giving up their second spot.
I think they can get a good player at 5 that would be like a top player in this draft, but they take quarterbacks instead.
As long as they take a defensive player, I don't care who we get at this point. I don't care. We passed on Derwin James last year. It's impossible for the Buccaneers not to draft a defensive player. I don't even care what position it is. I don't care if they draft a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Draft someone on defense, and I'll be happy, Coach Grendor.
All right, we'll take that into account for.
But we also do kind of need like a running back, and like
he can get one of those in like the 3rd round or something.
And
True,
like
actually,
a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not a lot of talk about the Bucs doing anything for a QB, but it does make a little bit of sense, right? Because it's Bruce Arians' first year in there, and I wouldn't be surprised if Arians is like, "Hey guys, this is going to be a bad year, but next year
we can get rid of Jameis."
Yeah, exactly.
Get rid of him.
There's
apparently
coming out.
The Buccaneers front office don't want to make the playoffs until he's finally off the team.
Oh, the Dolphins are going for Tua.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. It's like, hey, Fitzgerald's our quarterback. We're getting Tua.
That's the thing, right? Is that like when you are in those situations where you want to wait a year, which is, in fairness, worked out for the Jets with Sammy D. But when you do that, you don't know what's going to happen the next season. You don't know if you're even going to be in position to take the QB. Like what if that QB is the number 1 pick, and you don't have the number 1 pick, and the number 1 the team with the number 1 pick needs a QB, which is actually fairly likely.
Because next year there's also Jake Fromm and Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
a whole bunch of quarterbacks. So come on down. You could be the Dolphins. You could be the Bucs. Everybody gets a quarterback next year. Except if you're outside the top 3, then you don't.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Yeah.
I do have power rankings, Coach, whenever you're ready.
All right. I think we're ready for those power rankings. Now, is this after free agency or before free agency?
This is up to date as of today, Coach.
Okay, excellent.
All right.
So we have ourselves, yes, I know, pinch yourselves, wait for it, an off-season power rankings from the NFL.com, Bible of the Internet, football, NFL.com, power rankings, NFL.com. Now, I'm going to send it to both of you, Coach and Rob.
Okay.
Who is number 1 and who has been number 1 out of these drafts that have been, or out of these rankings that have been taken so far in this offseason, Coach?
The New England Patriots.
Yeah, probably the Patriots.
That is correct. Who would have thunk it? The Super Bowl winners would be ranked number 1, followed by Rob's favorite team, the New Orleans Saints, and the Rams inexplicably sitting at number 3. The Chargers moving out to 4, and I bet neither one of you, I'll give you both 2 guesses for the 5th, rounding out the top 5 in the power rankings for the 5th team, ranked at number 5.
The 5th team?
The Cleveland Browns.
No.
The Rams.
Incorrect.
They're already number 3.
I already said that they're number 3,
wait,
Coach.
yeah,
It's
you're
all right. Coach has been drinking some of the hitting the sauce early today.
What's going on?
I mean, you do have a drinking problem in my RimWorld series, so that's
all right. Is it the Bears?
It is not. It is the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh,
they're sitting at number 5 in the power rankings. Now, this is going to be the one that everyone is going to want to guess, and I'm gonna give you again both of you a chance here. Mm-hmm. True or false? The Cleveland Browns, our team of destiny, team of fate, and everything in between of mispronounced words. True or false? The Browns are in the top 10 for the first time ever.
True. False.
Rob?
True.
That is correct, Rob. The Browns are
number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9?
Ninth.
Number 9?
They moved up 7 positions, Coach. 7.
Wow.
The
I
Cleveland
gotta see
Browns.
this NFL power rankings.
Well, don't you can't cheat yet, Coach. You can't
All right,
go.
okay,
yet.
all
Let's
right.
go some more. I got some great trivia.
All right.
So this one goes to Coach Crendor. True or false, Coach? The Packers are still in the top 15 teams of the NFL Power Rankings on the offseason of the NFL.com Power Ranking, Coach.
As of today, I'd say yeah, they'd be probably like 15.
That is absolutely incorrect, Coach. The Packers have fallen to 17th.
Whoa!
The power rankings, trailing notable teams such as the Tennessee Titans, the Baltimore Ravens, who have fallen, as well as the Atlanta Falcons, Coach, and the Vikings as well.
Kidding me? Playoff. Playoff.
Now here's one for Robert, because this one's near and dear to my heart, Rob. All right. And again, I'm keeping it simple. True or false?
Yeah.
True or false? Your Jets, the Jets, Jets, are ranked higher than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
False.
That is absolutely incorrect. The Jets are actually ranked number 23 in the league, moving 6 spots. Coach Crendor, giving it to you. The Bucs have fallen 3 spots. At what rank do you put them at in the power rankings here on Power Rankings of the NFL.com Bible, Coach?
All right. There's 32 teams in the NFL, right?
That is absolutely correct, Coach.
Let's see. I'd say
they have
worse
fallen
than the Buccaneers.
They have fallen 3 spots. The Jets have risen to 23. Sorry,
I'd say Dolphins are worse. The Cardinals are worse. The Bengals, Giants are worse. So let's put let's see, 30, 31, 30, 29. I put them at a 20. What would that be? 28? I'll say they're 28th in the league.
That is absolutely correct, Coach. The
Oh my
Buccaneers
God.
fall from
Wow.
25 to 28th. The only teams that are...
let me guess the worst ones.
Okay.
I'd
In
say
any
worst.
order. You've got 4 teams that are worse than the
I'm going to say Cardinals are the worst.
Ding.
Yeah.
Dolphins second worst.
Ding.
Yeah.
Giants third worst.
Yeah,
What?
I wouldn't think that.
Okay. Who else did I say? Bengals third worst.
Ding.
Ooh.
And one more, Coach.
I don't know.
Think.
I don't know.
Just
Jacksonville.
Just think as
That's what I
incorrect.
was-
Just channel
What?
your inner channel your inner child abuser, Coach.
Redskins.
That is correct, Coach. The Redskins finishing the 30th spot. It goes from the bottom to the top. Cardinals 32nd, Dolphins 31st, Redskins to the 30th position, the Bungles at 29th, and then of course the lowly Packers or the lowly Buccaneers. Look, they suck.
Where are the Giants?
So this is going to be my last question here before we end it, Coach. And this can go to Rob as well. The New York Giants have moved, regardless of up or down. They have shifted more positions than any other team in the league. How many ranks? Again, this is either up or down. How many ranks do you think the Giants have fallen or risen or just simply moved? I'll give you both one guess. I'll start with Coach, and then we'll go to Rob.
I would say they've moved the most out of any team.
Right.
Well, where were they last year? Or where were they ranked last year?
Where did they end, you mean?
Yeah, what was their rank before they moved?
I think I've already they were 19th.
Oh, okay.
They ended at 19th.
Ooh, wow. They
have moved ranks
they've
more than
definitely
any other
fallen.
team in the NFL, but how many ranks is that?
Probably, let's see, 19.
I'd say 7.
I'd say 8.
They have moved a total of 8 positions.
Oh,
One off, Rob. They have fallen from 19th to 27th. I guess OBJ.
Well, if I didn't know, I would have guessed 10 or 11 if I didn't already know the worst team.
So that is going to do it, Coach Krendor. And if you're wondering, because I know you were, whether or not the Raiders were ranked higher or lower than the Jags, just because they're connected. The Jaguars have I lied. The Jaguars have moved more spots than any other team in the NFL, according to the NFL Power Rankings. They moved 9 spots.
What?
9 spots. They went from 30th to 21st, beating out teams such as the Oakland Raiders or the Vegas Raiders, the Jets, the Panthers, the Bills, Broncos, Giants, Bucks, Bengals, Raiders.
I guess
Dolphins,
I'm the only man on planet Earth who likes Blake Bortles, is what I've learned.
No.
That's it. Who's going to be playing on the offensive side of the ball in the Jacksonville Jaguars that they're moving up 9 spots?
I got to look at this.
Nick Foles is definitely going there, Rob. They've also they've made some key
NFL Power Rankings, NFL.com.
Don't question it, Coach. It's the only power higher than yours.
Here we go.
Is the Bible of the internet, Coach.
Patriots, Saints, Rams, Chargers, Colts, Chiefs, Eagles, Bears, Browns, Seahawks, Cowboys, Texans, Vikings are 13th. I don't even like the Vikings, and I think that's low. Titans, Ravens, Falcons, Packers, Steelers, Lions, 49ers, Jaguars, Raiders, Jets, Panthers, Bills, Broncos.
I'll be honest.
I think the Broncos should be where the Jaguars are, and the Jaguars should be at 26 where the Broncos are.
Bible of the internet.
I'm a little biased here, obviously, but the Jets, considering the teams you just read out, the Jets should be placed a little bit higher than they are, to be honest.
I think the Jets could be at like 21, actually.
I think
maybe like 20.
Higher than that, even.
The Jets
actually, they could probably beat the Lions too. They'd probably put them at 19 instead of the Lions.
We scored 50 points on them last year.
Yeah,
and that was last year without Le'Veon.
Yeah,
you can't question it, Rob. Don't even try it. It's the Bible of the internet, Coach.
Well, this will be fun to look back on in a few months when we're getting to the preseason.
Yeah. Happy off season, everyone. Don't forget 37 days. Well, depending on when time Coach actually uploads this, 37 days at the time of this recording till the NFL draft, Coach.
Yes. And we're going to do a pre-draft probably like a few days before.
Yep.
And then we'll live stream the actual draft, and then we'll do a post-draft. Those should be our next things. We could have went over the combine, but really, that's probably best saved for the pre-draft show. We can just go over all that.
Yeah. I think that's good, and I think that everyone's homework out there should be who can design the best new logo for thumbnails.
God, please do.
Yeah, that one that you have is so bad.
I want to see. I'm not saying Coach's clip art isn't great, but I want to see like some art. Fox football, NFL on Fox, like robot, futuristic looking.
Yeah, but please don't copyright anything. Please make it your own work and give us full rights to use it out of the kindness of your heart.
Yeah, and merchandising rights as well.
Make us a full CGI robot. Actually, a CGI robot army. They all throw footballs.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need an animation. We just need a something better than just
what we got.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much anything's better. Hey, thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon in about a month. It'll be here before you know it. So that's it. Thank everybody. SoundCloud, YouTube, search 3 Guys Talk About Football. We're all over. And thanks for listening.
Bye.
Goodbye.